Look, last time Americans voted for an outsider, they perhaps got what they expected, perhaps. Today, a reminder they voted for very much a trusted insider and a long-term Washington experienced senator.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think today one thing you really saw was Biden's, both kind of respect and in some ways reverie for tradition. It was a very traditional inauguration speech. It was a very traditional ceremony. Again, in kind of stark opposition to what we saw 4 years ago with Trump's language around kind of so-called American carnage, right? Biden spoke to the kind of American language of perpetual progress, of forming a better union and stuff like that. And again, very much keeping in line with presidents, Republican and Democrat before him. And again, which serves even further to kind of suggest how much outside of the tradition Donald Trump was.
Well, look, he was, but interesting to note that he did keep one tradition going, the letter from the outgoing president to the incoming one. So much speculation here, I must admit, I didn't think this would happen. It did. We don't know yet what it said, but it's been described by Joe Biden as very generous. Does this surprise you at all?
Yeah, a bit, honestly. Frankly, the fact that the former president wasn't there today, that he didn't, which is, again, long-standing tradition. The former president welcomes him. The new one usually, in fact, leads him to the motorcade as he heads to the Oval Office after taking the oath. The fact that Trump didn't do that suggested, again, that he was throwing pretty much all traditions out the window. And it's important to kind of remember, too, that this tradition in particular, that of reading the letter, is actually relatively recent. I think the first was Ronald Reagan leaving it for his Vice President, George H.W. Bush.
Yeah, but one that has been adhered to ever since. Really interested in what you think of Joe Biden's task here of trying to knit the country together. He said to Trump supporters, essentially, at least hear me out. There were 74 million of them at the last election. Is it a mistake to think all of those are rusted on? The Donald Trump supporters are probably about the most loyal political supporters in my time, but they're not all rusted on, are they, these 74 million? There will be some that simply won't listen to Joe Biden, but there still will be plenty that perhaps will be ready to move on?
Yeah, no, look, absolutely. I think, I think it's somewhat of a misconception, right, that when Trump has a large number in the context of a lot of places of kind of very loyal supporters, but by large numbers, we're probably talking 2, 3, 4 million, right, out of a Republican electorate of 74 million. The very fact you're seeing, right, that folks like Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, again, the daughter, a leading congresswoman, the daughter of the former vice president, in some ways the kind of epitome of the establishment of the Republican Party breaking from Donald Trump very clearly in the last week and a half. Suggest that they see a kind of a political upshot to moving against Trump. Again, I think a lot of Republican voters, a lot of Trump voters also voted for Mitt Romney, also voted for John McCain, also voted George W. Bush, and so on and so on. Right. Again, that core is loud. They are not going to kind of leave his side, but I don't think that core necessarily, is even a majority, frankly, of the Republican Party. So then what you've got is, again, a kind of large group of people, Trump voters, right? Some of whom who will get a lot of things they like out of the Biden administration. I think also at the state level, right, the kind of immediate aid for COVID relief right now. And again, just to kind of a reminder, viewers in Australia, right, the United States just had its 400,000th death, right? That's more people than in all of Canberra, right, have now passed away from COVID in the United States, right? Getting relief to states, getting vaccine distribution, all of that's going to go down well, whether you're a Republican governor or Democratic governor, Republican voter or Democratic voter.
Donald Trump has said he'll be back in some form in his final speech as president. The commentary, obviously, immediately after the election and the days that followed were he had so many votes, the election looked so close, the Republican Party would struggle to get out of his shadow. A couple of months on, well, it turns out he lost the popular vote by 7 million votes. He managed to, likely help lose Senate control, courtesy of the Georgia reruns. He's been impeached twice now. It seems more Republicans are jumping ship on that second impeachment. So has the assumption that Donald Trump can do whatever he wants and it's his to take that nomination again next election, has that assumption and that equation changed?
Frankly, we don't know yet, right? The first thing is the legal hurdles for him. That when eventually in the next few weeks or months the Senate meets to have a formal trial for Donald Trump, right, they have the option of barring him from future office. So one, there's that just kind of legal impediment. But really, again, kind of going back to what I was suggesting earlier, right, we're not going to really know the extent to which Donald Trump controls the Republican Party until Republican primaries in about 2 years for congressional seats, for Senate seats, for some governorships, where I suspect you'll see a lot of the Republicans who, whether they voted for impeachment this term or whether they seemed to have moved against the president kind of in their words, even if not on their votes, so the former president, in their words, if not on their votes, I suspect they're going to have primary challengers from Trump-supporting folks across the country. And it's in those primaries we'll really see whether Donald Trump himself still can kind of control the party or not, or if those primaries should, again, if those kind of pro-Trump people go down, we'll see a kind of deep repudiation.
Yeah, for now, we'll see what imprint Joe Biden can make. Thomas, thanks very much for your time today. Thank you.